Hello everybody, my name is Matt and you're watching J&M Simulations. Sorry, I had a little mess up there. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Majestic Dash 8 Q400, as you can see by the title of this video. So I'm going to just start it off here. I didn't really know where to start there. Basically, I just got this aircraft a few days ago, been flying it. Just trying to get a nice hold on the aircraft, just so I can bring it to you guys with some knowledge. Sorry, I forgot to press stop, let it go there. As you can see, very good dynamic braking there. Dynamic, what do you call it? What would I call that? Dynamic environment, where the gear had quite a bit of, had a large effect when we hit the ground. Anyway, first we're going to just start off with some background of this aircraft. This aircraft is modeled after the Bombardier Q400 Dash A Q400. It's a very successful aircraft. It's a turboprop twin engine, as you can see, 6 blades. Many regional carriers use the aircraft. I don't really have too much facts about it lined up. Just that it's a very rugged aircraft. They use it for Alaska Airlines. I know Alaska Airlines is a large holder. Horizon, they both have quite a bit of these aircraft. Then a bunch of Express have them. A lot of island airlines have them. There's an airline in Costa Rica that I believe has them. And there's Air Berlin. A bunch of the big ones, Lufthansa Regional, all the big ones, they use these for intercity hops, just like the Bombardier CRJ series. So basically, like I said, before we get into this, we're just going to show some outside views. It's a really attractive plane. This is really the best turboprop there is out there for FSX right now, at least turboprop airliner. So look at this really nice detail where even these pilots are doing some crazy stuff. As you can see, if I press a button, see if I can put that. I'm pretty sure the guys do stuff. See, maybe I was mistaken by that. They'll just randomly do stuff. So if you make adjustments, they'll actually sometimes they'll there you see, just I pressed the gear button and they actually went and did that. You could do it again. Maybe I'm lying. I have no idea. I don't know if that's, like I said, I don't know if that's a thing or what. Might be a thing, but I don't know. Obviously, you can see these. The weird thing about this aircraft is the 2 main gears are not attached at the body of the fuselage of the aircraft. They're attached at the wings, near the right under, I should say, the engines. Something that's really attractive is those exhaust things there, right at the back of the engine, because these are turboprop. They're half jet, half the turbines. You see, there's an intake and an outtake, I guess you would call it, at the end. There's the APU valve just at the back, and really attractive aircraft. Also something I noticed a lot of people have started to subscribe lately. Just want to thank everybody that's been subscribing, and you guys are what make us go. By the way, we're at the general aviation ramp because I do not want to do a pushback, because I've been having problems with the pushback with this aircraft. That is a minor bug. When you push back, if you start the pushback, you stop, you'll be pushing back whenever you're braked. So unless you have a parking brake on, if you stop and you just sit there and you've already initiated the parking brake, your aircraft will start rolling backwards. So if I've initiated the parking brake, I don't want to have to initiate the parking brake and then have to have that problem around me the entire time I'm flying it. So I'm not going to do that pushback setting. It's going to stay here. I haven't actually taken this onto VATSIM, so it could run into problems. It's not going into a gate at VATSIM. I don't know. Have to see. But anyway, as you can see, this view's a little bit messed up there. Really good quality on this aircraft. As you can see, these panels along the engine, very high quality. The blades are just fantastic. The gear's very nice. Here's the virtual cabin here. Not really extensive, but you know the drill. Now we come into the cockpit. Very nice. It is extensively detailed. As you can see, full controls up here. Very nice things you've got going on in this aircraft. For some reason the battery seems to be non-operative. What does that say? Anyway, like I was saying, very nice aircraft. I've been lucky enough to fly a little bit, and I have to say I love it. It's just a lot of fun to fly, and want to be able to show you guys that within this video. If I can maybe get the batteries to get on. Standby battery, main battery, master battery. Well, now that we're sitting here, why don't we just take a look at the very, very nice, as you can see, the dynamic shadows, and also the dust on the screen is very nice. I forgot to put fuel in the aircraft as I do in most of my videos if you've been a viewer for a little while. I'm just going to put in some fuel now, just about 25% fuel. Sorry about this. I did want to discuss some things with you guys, the viewers, as before I really got into the video as well. I was thinking about doing maybe live streams. I know we don't have a big audience. Me and Jason have a very small audience just about now, and we know that. We don't want you to think that we do not know this. We know this, and we know that we don't have a big audience. We know that we only have a few dozen subscribers. We don't have a lot of people to get out to, but we really want to expand what we are doing. I think that because I've been doing VATSIM videos, I really think that it'd be smart to do some VATSIM streams so that you guys could see a real VATSIM flight without any cuts, without anything, just as, right from the beginning, right through the end. And if you want to leave, you can leave. If you don't want to watch it at all, you don't have to watch it at all. Stuff like that. We really want to be able to expand the horizons. Obviously, if we'd only be able to if we got considerable people saying yes. If we got like 10 people say yes, or like 5 people say yes that they would want to see that, that'll be enough. There's the ELT one sec. That would be fine. I wouldn't mind doing a live stream for 5 people because those 5 people would be helped by the live stream. So that stuff is not a problem. So don't, if you are the first person to say something, please do not refrain from saying something because you don't want to be the first person. Please just say it. If you want to see it, say it, and you will. Now that that is out of the way, I'm going to see if I can finally get this master battery on, because it doesn't seem to, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be working now. Yeah, I'm going to come back to you guys in just a minute and try and see if I can get this all figured out. Alright, we're back with our second try at this aircraft. Everything's looking good. I just went in the cockpit, checked it out, and there's no problems. I also changed the livery because I felt like it looked better in this livery. I don't know if that is shared by anybody else, but I really like the livery, how this looks. The red, I think, contrasts very well with the white, and I think it adds a really nice effect to this aircraft. And I think it's really, really nice. So, without further ado, back into the cockpit. Now, a fully not fully on aircraft, just a partially on aircraft. But I want to warn you guys before we get into this. This is a the sounds in this aircraft are absolutely phenomenal. They are incredible, and the thing is that it's not. It's just something. It's not even like they're not they're not one of the other companies. They are their own Majestic sounds, and they are, I have to say, absolutely incredible. They are incredible, and I think that you have to really appreciate what they've been doing. I'm going to come outside and listen to the Apu Start up here right at the back. Something else I want to point out, as we're going around the aircraft, it's a different sound. As we pass the back, we get more sound. As we pass the front, we get less sound. And back against the back, we get more. So I just really want to showcase that there's a lot of sound going on in this aircraft. That's a really strong point, strong selling point of this aircraft, and it's awesome. A lot of aircraft forget to do that. They forget to, developers forget that there are different things depending on where you're looking. So as if we're looking at, depending on if we look over here, get different sound. If you look over here, you can see, especially if you have stereo headsets, and you have right and left channels, you'll really get immersed in this aircraft and just feel like you're actually doing it. So now that everything's on and started, we can actually start up the aircraft. Now, considering that we don't have to push back, we don't really have to do much. So that's not a big problem. We're just going to come into here, get into our, just to see what our message is. Let's see. GPS no rain. I don't know what that is. I haven't really been finding that long enough to know what that is. We've got our normal nav pages here. All these things here, this is all, you know, next, previous, next. Everything's normal if you've seen these types of things before. As you can see, we are here at TNCM. We can go down and select things and do all sorts of things here. You know, we can go to our initialization page. We can go to our flight plan page, performance page. Like I said, there's a lot we could do on this aircraft. Like right here, we can come into here, glide, slow distance, everything, weight with fuel. I haven't really used this too much. Like I said, I will be using it in coming videos. This is all enterable data here, so it's not too simple to set up. It is a really nice aircraft though. If I can get to, here's our communications, I should say, rather. Like I said, performance, flight plan, fuel. You know, passenger. Okay, we have 108. You know, there's our weight. We have 100. We have to click on it then put. So we have 10 passengers. We have 187. We can. I didn't know we could carry that much. So we're carrying 60. Enter. Cargo 0. And our 0 fuel weight is all that together. Is 37438 plus 11, which is 48, and then it would be 6. That would be 5, 8. Sorry, I just did that in my head. That's no big deal. There we go. That's all set in. There's really not much else to do. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna set up this aircraft fully to go. It just does not really seem necessary to me, especially when I'm just trying to do a review on it. I'm just gonna set up full lights here, just because there's no reason not to. And then we are going to turn on our engines. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do that. Here you go. First one's gonna start up. We're gonna turn on the parking brake now. Once I turn on the fuel to the engine, we will go outside and we will watch this baby start up. There we go, we just spiked an EGT, and as you can see, the sounds of this engine are just fantastic. As we come to the back, we get a lot more sound here. Right here in the exhaust stream, we get a lot more, as if we get over here. You know, see, coming over here, we get a lot of sound of just, you know, the propeller. Here, we get a lot of the airflow coming back off the propeller. So that's pretty much a full startup, and we'll get the second one going now. As you can see, our torque is at 6. You know, this is the torque-based power. So that's something that if you don't, or you're not used to, which I'm not used to, then you'll have to get used to. It's quite an interesting system. I don't really know much about it, so I cannot say that anything about it. I cannot say that I know something about it, because I really do not. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do. I do not know that much about it. It's a very complex system. Go put that anti-skid on. Propeller range. As you can see, the second one's almost started up here. Really attractive startup. As you can see, we can get nice and close right here and just watch those propellers start up. There's a dynamic shadowing right there. It's just gorgeous. I think I forgot to put in the fuel. Yeah, there you go. That's why I wasn't doing it. As you can see, now that there's fuel introduced in the engine will spark and start going. I do plan on doing a full flight with this aircraft. When I do the full flight, it will clearly, not clearly, I didn't, you guys might not know this, it will be a lot more in depth. Expect it to be a lot more in depth. A lot more information will be covered in the full flight. I will be doing a VATSIM flight on this. What I'll be doing is I'll be coming in here and doing a full FMC setup, full everything, and it'll be a nice short flight, just so you guys can see a lot of the aircraft. And I'll put in parts in which you can, choose which part of the video you want to watch. If you want to skip to the takeoff with VATSIM, or if you want to stay on from the beginning and watch from the startup and everything, then that is perfectly alright as well. So now that we have all started up, both our engines started up, as you can see our power is at flight idle, and we're just going to increase the power a little bit here and try to get going. You can see there's the glitch there again. It's just where it just you get that problem. So I'm just going to use the steering tool we have provided here. I don't know what its technical name is. It's not the steering range, I know that. It's technically called something else, but I don't really remember the technical name. As you can see right here, from right here, this cockpit looks very, very beautiful, very gorgeous. All of the above, as normal. Just back here at TNCM, I really like this airport, and we haven't been here in a while, just because of virtue of we've gotten other nice sceneries that I've been using in the past reviews. We haven't really done a review in a while either. So that's kind of what attributes to that as well. Like I said, just expect to see a lot of this aircraft. It's very nice, very fun to do. If they come out with a new release soon, I don't know which version this is. I don't really remember. Like I said, I did not get. I bought it a while ago, downloaded it not too long ago. So it might be the previous version. I don't really know. I will go check on that, and it might be a bug fix on it, but like I said, I do not know. I'm just coming up to the runway 09 here, or it might be 10 on this scenery. I don't really quite remember. I've seen them as either. I think it's actually 10 on this scenery. Yeah, there you go, 10. Very nice dynamic shadowing here. Nice lighting, how it's changing based on where we are. Going to pull out our power a little bit here because we don't really need all that power in there. We're just going to try and get out here on this line, and then we'll get going. As you can see, very, very loud. I haven't even, the thing you have to remember, this is flight idle right now. This is a flight idle RPM. I have not taken the power off of flight idle. As I do this, you'll hear the engine getting a lot louder, as it will get up to 30 to 40 torque. As I increase the power, you will hear the engines getting a lot more powerful, up to 90 torque. You can see here the engines are getting all very, very, very loud. We'll be turning it down, don't worry. Reaching 70 knots here. Reaching 90 knots. There goes 100. We can take off now. A little bit of a, there you go, gear up. Got a little bit of a crosswind here. No problem. It's a really tough aircraft, and I can take it. If you've ever flown on a Dash 8, I want you to tell me if you can in the comments if this is anything like the normal one. I've never flown on it. I was going to fly on it actually, but what happened was the aircraft that I was going to fly on had a problem with it. Flight got pushed back, and they ended up replacing it with the CRJ 200. So I wasn't ever able to fly this, unfortunately. It seems like a really nice aircraft. See, ton of videos on it, real world videos, a ton of them. They're depicting as a beautiful aircraft as it is, but I want to know if you felt what it's like to actually be on this aircraft, and if it actually feels like this, if it looks like this, if it sounds like this, all the above. As you can see, just coming outside, really, really loud out here. Really, really loud by the engine. So if you ever had that seat, I feel bad for you. You know, I love I love engine sounds, but not when they're right in my ear. That can be irritating at times. So I feel for those people that had that. I'm gonna ease back on the trim here. The trim is kind of high. Some aircraft just have default takeoff trim. When they have default takeoff trim, they can get a little bit out of hand on the takeoff as far as trimming. A weird sound coming out of the aircraft. I don't know what that is. That sound. I don't know whether that's just a normal sound out of the aircraft. I'm gonna start leveling off here as we turn back towards the airport. We can start pulling back our power here for a just the leveling off here at the altitudes. You can see there's an airport right below us. Very, very nice sounds from even the ground. Very, very nice view. Very good frame rate, actually. I'm running at 23 frames per second, 26 frames per second right now. And I'm capped at 30. I capped my simulator at 30, so that's actually really good. You know, if it's capped at 30, it's running at 23 with everything I have on here. And you gotta remember, I have Rex running in the background. I have EZDOK running in the background. This is a top quality scenery. Got a top quality add-on, Fraps, and Audacity. So that's a lot of programs running on my computer right now, and it's taking it and it's, you know, spitting it back out of me just as easily as it took it in. It's just really good on the performance here. Trying to see if maybe it's because we're drifting a little bit because of P factor. Actually, yeah, that's what it is. P factor is, if you don't know, if you can look up P factor. P factor is just it's shortened for propeller factor. Which what happens is when you have propellers that turn a certain way, they get if they're not opposite turning, if one doesn't turn, if one turns to the left and one turns to the right, there is no such thing as P factor. But when they're both turning the same way, you actually get a left turning tendency because of the way that the blades are actually formed. Here we're just getting a alert by the aircraft. Don't quite know what that means. I believe it has something to do with our altitude of some magnitude. So here we're gonna just I think it actually has to do with our throttle, which is quite annoying. So I don't know how we're going to get a nice descent rate here. Yeah, I don't know how we're going to have a descent rate. Let's just get our spoilers extended, if I can find out how to do that. I pressed the spoiler button, but that doesn't seem to work. Huh. Yeah, just get every single time I get that throttle down to there, it just gets a. This is a warning for that. So let's see if that was, no, that wasn't it. So we're just gonna re-engage that there and just, you know, let it go and try and get lower. Maybe it's because we don't have flaps on and we're going lower RPM. Oh, that looks like it fixed it. Sweet, okay. It was just the flaps. The flaps, I guess, are not in a certain thing. It will not go. Because this is a propeller aircraft, depending on what attitude we are at, RPM will increase. Or torque, I should say. So if we, I'll show you. If we come up here to a neutral, it's at 18. But if we come down, and I'll just do this for demonstrational purposes. If I point down to approximately 20 degrees, we should see an increase. Maybe they didn't model that, but here, I'll slowly pull back up now. In the real world, the RPM of the aircraft or the torque of the aircraft's engines would have increased. In my aircraft, whenever we're in a low, you know, we're high attitude maneuver. Depending on which way we are on the spectrum, if we are pointing down, we will get, you know, maybe a 1 to 200 increase in our RPM. If we're pointing up, we might get a little bit more, even 1 to 300 RPM decrease. So that's kind of stuff you're looking at when you're using these aircraft. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's actually modeled in this one or not. It doesn't seem to be. But something I wanted to show you, I'm going to stall here just so you can see this. Something really cool about this aircraft, there is a, just going to come the last flaps here. When you stall, the pilots put their hands to their head. So I'll show you that right here now. And we'll just do it slowly by pitching up the aircraft. As we stall, as we approach the stall, the pilots will begin to put their hands up in distress, which is probably not the right thing that they should be doing in this situation if this actually happened, because pilots should try to get you out of it. But as you can see, as we're approaching our stall here, they will put their heads up off the controls in distress. The reason that we didn't fully stall that time. So to make sure that we're fully going to stall here, let's get us in a high angle of attack. Give us some nice RPM. There you go. There's one guy screaming already. Get some nice high RPMs in there, and actually keep that torque coming, that high torque, just so we can get a little bit more of a high angle of attack. And then we'll let it rip. Why? Anyway, so now we'll pull out our power all the way and watch as they put their hands on there. As you can see, there go the hands, and here comes the stall. Fall on the nose as the nose goes down. This is actually a really good aircraft at recovering from stalls. It really will just do it by itself. If I leave it here, it should recover from the stall. Aerodynamic, we'll have to, as you can see, there goes the RPM. As we are pulling it, as we're going down, the RPM is increased all the way to 1020. And there you go, it's recovered by itself. It does require some input by the pilot, but like I said, really minimal input. You just have to give a little bit of a nose up attitude and let it will just recover by itself. It's really good in that sense. We're going to turn back towards the airport now. As you can see, we got a little bit of a terrain map up there, which is telling us we're going to put the gear back up for now because we don't need it there. There are the islands up there. Gonna keep going. We went really far, not intentionally, just for demonstrational purposes. But just, I guess for now, I'll just talk about what the channel's been doing, why I haven't been posting that much. Doing these videos takes a long time. Because it's flight simulation content, we like to make it long. Because, you know, and because of that, we end up doing a lot less of them. If I was just doing 2-minute videos where you would see, you know, a nice, how do they say, a nice cinematic video, might be 2 minutes long, but I know that I like to watch really long flight simulation content so I can get a lot of knowledge, so I can increase my knowledge the most that I can, get a lot of, just like I said, in general, just a lot of knowledge, a lot of information from the person that is doing the video, and basically that. So I really stay away from the videos that are like 2 minutes long or just cinematic. I will watch those, but only if I can't watch any more of those long, nice videos. So I really like to make content that I would like to watch. If I'm making content that I would not watch, then why am I making this content? Because I'm trying to appeal to people what I think people want, and what I like to make. So this is what I like to make. I like to make longer stuff that's a little bit, more in depth, not too in depth, unless I'm doing a full flight. As you can see, from example, the PMDG 777 full flight, that full flight, which you can go view in the annotation right now. Right now on the top right, there's an annotation there. But basically, when doing videos, I like to keep them long, like I said, just because, not super long, not super wordy and super, having all this information in it, but just enough information so that, you guys can leave with more knowledge than you came. And that's really what the whole idea is. If we didn't do that, we didn't do our job. And we're trying to enlighten it, and give a lot of nice content out there. We'd rather release one video a week that is 30 minutes than 10 videos a week that are 3 minutes. So if you see what I'm saying, I just took it up and divided it into 10 different videos that were 3 minutes. But I'd much rather show one video that is 30 minutes long, and I know that there is content out there. You know, there might be people out there that want different content, so they might want a 1 minute, 1 minute, 3 minute videos, and might want 10 of them. But I think that there's a lot more value in me doing an informational video rather than me doing a cinematic video, because in cinematic video it's much easier. In a cinematic video I could just, I could sit there and just put on FS recorder and land a few planes and just play it over again. That's not too hard to do. Yes, I have the computer for it. Yes, I have the scenery and I have the planes for it, but it's really not that hard to do. So if anybody can do that, why do it? If not everybody can make really, nice flight simulation content. And that's what we're striving to do. If we're not doing that, let us know, please. But we feel like we're doing a nice job at really showing what it's like to really flight simulate. How we all have problems in the beginning of our flight simulation. Right when we learn a new aircraft, we all have problems with it. That's why this is going to be titled the First Impressions video as well, because I haven't really flown this plane too much, only for a little bit. As we get more and more familiar with these aircraft, we get much better. But I'm trying to depict a realistic way of flight simming to you guys. That's really what I want for all those new people out there who've just bought this aircraft or something. This is not going to be a tutorial where I tell you how to do the aircraft. It's going to be somewhere where we have a first experience together with the aircraft, and we see what it's like and if you should buy it. This is normally for people. This is for people who don't know what to do, if they want to buy it or what. I would say definitely buy it. As far as I'm just going to go right through. Like now, I'm just going to go through the end part of the tutorial because it's taking us a little while to get back to the to fly out of the biggest airports in the world and then the smallest airports in the world. Whereas a 777, you can really only fly it out of some of the biggest airports because you're not going to take off you're not going to have a 777 take off from a 3,000 foot runway. It's just not going to happen. Realistically, that is. So basically, that's all I'm trying to say. This is a very realistic aircraft. It's a lot of fun. I've not flown this aircraft. I cannot tell you that it's realistic from the point of view of a pilot, because I've not flown this aircraft. But P factor is modeled perfectly. It's very strong in this aircraft, and as it would be in the normal aircraft, because there are 2 propellers, 2 times the P factor. There's a lot of detail in this aircraft, especially if you go in the higher versions. There's also a pilot version and a pro there's a pro version, and then there's also a education one, which they're both really detailed. Those ones. Obviously, I'm not being educated on this aircraft, and I'm also not a pro, so I'm not going to buy those ones, especially because they're much more expensive. They go from 50 euros to about up to 150 euros. The middle one is I think about 79 euros. So that translates to a little bit more, I believe, in dollars. So I really would rather stay away from that really expensive stuff, especially when I don't really need it. It's some stuff that just make it more realistic, such as circuit breakers working and stuff like that. These were way high here. There's no problem. We're because it's a really
1,000. Sink rate. 500. Plus 100. Minimums. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Flaps.